Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Adventures. Hope you're looking forward to some adventures, but before we do, we're going to show you how to set up your vehicle for adventures that are reliable and that work and that aren't going to waste your money. Now, I just want to quickly say, today's Friday, so I've got a little bit of spare time. If you want to, there's only two reasons to contact me on a Friday. A, if it's an emergency, and B, if you want to get yourself in the bad books. So you choose which one or don't do it. Parts day's Monday. Now, we're just going to show you how we're running step by step. There's going to be a few different videos. Some might be on 4x4 Adventures, some might be on 4x4 Diesel, some might be just directly on our Oz Prado Crew Facebook group in Australia. Some might be on hashtag 1GD for every crew, because look, it's a 1GD. So I'm just torn. I don't know where to put all this information. I can't fit it in one. People will complain it's too long and still ask questions. So bits and pieces, and all the people that want the info, they can put the puzzle together and they'll be happy, and all the ones that haven't got time, then you just do what you're going to do. But I'm going to save you some money for the people that want to do it themselves, and there's definitely always options for how to do this job. Now, as you can see, one of our mods, if you're in the battery, there's one of these batteries for free. I told you that. It's got to be pick-upable from Melbourne, Victoria area, you know, Melbourne or somewhere around Melbourne, whatever. You know, obviously if you're overseas or if you're in Queensland or WA or NT and you're coming down, that's no problem as well. As long as it's in the next couple of months or something. We don't want to hold it forever because it's a battery. We want to get it in use. But look, we got the battery in one of our earlier mods. The point of that was you need to be in it to win it. You know, you need to know mod number 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be probably getting around mod number 19, 20, 21. There could be a few combos here. But what we're doing right at the moment is, so there's the components to a dual battery or auxiliary battery. So we've got our starting battery over here. That stays, nothing's going to change at the moment. This is our auxiliary battery. The reason to have it is so that we cannot give a stuff about it. Now, I don't want to make that the wrong way. This one's important. We need to look after it. It needs to start the engine. That's ultimately super important, right? So you don't want to run a fridge off that one because it'll drain it, and what that'll do, could leave you with a flat battery, and even if it doesn't, draining a battery damages the battery. The best way to keep a battery is full. So this is our sacrificial batteries, if you like, traditionally called a auxiliary battery or a second battery or whatever you like. Now, initially what we're going to do, we're going to hook this up, the charging system, a really simple way, but that's not in this video. What we're working on from here is we have the battery, it's got some power in it. How do we get the power to the back of the vehicle to run things like fridges, other accessories, phone chargers, lights, light chargers, all that sort of thing. So we want to get enough power to the back of the vehicle so we can run any fridge or freezer. If somebody wants to hook up some lights, enough juice to run lights and stuff like that from this battery, like, you know, you're camping, setting up camp, cooking, whatever, and you want to have those lights on at the back there. So we want plenty of gigawatt cable, and that's this one, right? So what are we using? Quality cable. Told by a number of people, and it's pretty obvious, if it's made in Australia, it's quality. So TiCab, we're using the 6BNS. Now, I'm pretty sure you can check my older videos, but in the 2019 when we did this with the same battery and a different battery clamp, so there's options. So you check out the old videos. On the other one, we used the standard battery clamp. This one, I didn't like it as much. This one spreads the load a bit more. So this is a projector one, I believe. I can't even remember. I just do these things. I put it in videos. So if you need the info, you really need to research the videos. But look, last time I'm pretty sure we used 8BNS, which is plenty as well. Absolutely plenty. They didn't have a roll of it there. There was only a couple meters. So guess what? We upgraded to the next size. Not bad because it still fits in the corrugated tubing, the 7mm corrugated tubing, which is about the same size as this over here. Right, so the connections we're going to get to later, may or may not be in this video. I'm going to keep all the videos to about 10 minutes or so that you don't go, oh, it was too long. This video is going to be mainly covering where the options on how to run the cable front to back. Now, there's lots of different auto electrical jobs you can get. You can get the quick rush job, or you can get the one that takes way too long and it's going to cost you another Prado to get the job done. Or there's something in between. Now, obviously this cable needs to eventually connect to this battery terminal. So we're running the cable from this end. That's why it's on the roll. Even if you've got, I'd suggest to start off with about 10 meters, maybe less, because you always want to make sure you've got enough. And the offcuts you're usually going to use for things like Anderson plugs, or there's other bits and pieces you need. Now, we're not on that subject. We're not running from the front to the back for an Anderson plug for a camper or caravan. If you wanted to do that, it may possibly even need to be run from this battery, so because it's your main key charging battery directly, maybe with a fuse or an isolator. Again, lots of variables and lots of people with different bloody opinions, isn't it? They're like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. So do you want to follow the wise man? This is not for the Anderson plug to the back of the car to go to the trailer. This is not to go in the vehicle for the USBs at the dash. We've got that happening as well. This is to get the power from the front here to the back of the vehicle, and then how we're going to split it from there, more or less, depending what we fit in the video, right? And you're going, we'll get on with it. It's 5 minutes already, but look at all the information I've given you already. It's all important, right? So along here, we should have probably brought the light or turned the light on. We've got the light on now. For now, I've just popped that grommet out. See that grommet there? That's what they're designed for. Now, there's other little places you can go through these other wiring. We might do that later, we might not, whatever the case may be. We may or may not. Over the other side, you've got the same. You've got grommets, you've got little nipples you can cut out, and you've got another one of these, right? That's what I suggest using, these grommets. There's one there and one on the other side. Let's go over there and have a quick look so you can see. Right? So you might, everybody's different what they want to do. You can see another one there, and you know, there's these things and there's little things you can cut out, and I prefer to use those two grommets. That's what they're there for, and they're independent of anything else, right? So we're not messing around with any other wiring. Now, what I may do later, and I did with the other vehicle, when I run a smaller wire, I may put it through, see on this grommet here, where hard to see, but where your water goes through, down here, there's your water. So you've got a couple of cables, there's a bit of space on the side of it, and you can actually stick a wire through there with where the water goes through, and you don't have to cut anything. So if it's a small one, going to the dash, and we'll get to that later with our USBs, maybe in another video. But at the moment, we've taken that grommet out, right? So here it is. I haven't even cut it yet, right? But what we're going to do, we can see the size of the cable. We'll cut it out as necessary, and that's what it's for. There's different sizes you can cut out of it. We'll cut out as necessary. As it turns out, that is a perfect size for a cable like this. So for now, through there, once we're done and we get our length cut off at this end, that's when we'll slide our grommet down. If it's hard to slide, use a bit of Molykote 111, something like that, to make it slide. Whatever you do, make sure that grommet goes in properly, okay? But that's later. But you get the gist of it. We're here, we've got our roller wire. Now let's go into the vehicle. Like I said, there's more than one way to, well, what do they say? Something about a chicken. There's more than one way to scale a fish, or to skin a fish, or to clean a fish fillet off, right? So I'm going to show you, and I'm not saying I'm done here, but I'm just giving you a general idea where it's going to come in. Now to get it through this stuff, that's what's up there as well. You do need to, I forgot to tell you, while you're out there, you need a long drill bit. You need to be careful not to scratch the vehicle or anything under there. It's a new vehicle. Whether it's new or not, you need to be careful. Because you need to drill it out. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to try and get up there. All right, pretty easy. It's right there. Look, there's nothing in the way. Easy to access. You can put your hand right there. I'm just going to go, bang, look, easy to get your hand there. I can even, 2 hands free. You can see I drilled it out. It came around. Pick your area where it's not going to rub on anything for me. I tucked it around. Trying to work here with a couple of lights. I tucked it in around behind everything. See, it comes down there. It's not rubbing on anything. If you're worried about anything, you can put some corrugated split tubing over it. I may or may not do that. I will analyze this and go, you know what, I don't need to. There's nothing sharp, it's all plastic. Nothing's gonna rub, or I might run it anyway. I may or may not. Probably not. I'd say it's not needed. But you know, depending how anal OCD you are, if you're better or worse than me, whether you need to. So then it comes down here, you trim. Obviously, first, these trims at the bottom, they're just clipped in. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, some other clips. Really, you just grab them and pull them up. Clip, they come off. Be careful. If you break it, it's your problem. I'll show you the back of it so you see what it looks like. See these clips? But these little felt things, sometimes they fall off. Pick those up, put them back on your clips. So when you put it back on, that's how it's meant to be, to stop all your squeaks and rattles, right? See? There's the back of the trim. Just sit it somewhere where it's not going to get scratched or damage the vehicle. The kick trim you need to take off. You just unscrew the little Duvalaki, right, you'll see, and then you pull it back towards you. You've got, again, one clip goes in there and the other clip of the trim goes there. I'll show you, make things really easy. You want maximum info, right? That's that thing you unscrewed, right? It pulls back towards you because look, you've got a clip here, right? And we need to find that little bit of felt as well, because there's not one on there. Ideally, doesn't really matter, but and you can see that one when you put it back in. It's like a wedge, right? It goes in there. Make sure it's in, not next to it. It has to be there, right? We've run the wire inside the wiring clamp, right? It's all just against corrugated split tubing. It's got thick insulation. We're going to have a fuse on this red wire up the battery end, right? So if anything was to ever rub through, the vehicle doesn't burn to the ground, right? It's got a fuse there. That's the whole idea of it. But it's not going to happen anyway. We're going to have a fuse there, but it's not going to happen. Okay, so runs along here through the clamp, next to the wiring room, through the clamp, through the clamp. Now, if you're good and you choose to go on the inside of the wiring room, if you're good or if you're lucky, you may have to pull this trim back a little bit. And look, you can have to remove the seatbelt and everything, do it the hard way if you like. But for me, I pick the route through there, right? And I get it nice and straight, and I push it nice and straight and firm. And if you're lucky, it'll come out the other end. And I was almost lucky. We'll go around the other end. I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll take the light round there. Before we go too much further, you may notice on the other vehicle we did it a different way, didn't we? Yeah. Well, we'll go back there in a minute. We'll just run through that because this is all optional. There's so many ways to do things that are okay. Now I'm going to run through a few of them at the end of the video. And this video is going to be pretty much how to run a wire front to the back of the vehicle, I've decided, because blah, 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 you know, too much talk, I've got to get this job done. So it came out just under there is the other end of that white plastic kind of like, you know, you probably can't see. So there you go, there it is. And my wire sort of hit on that a little bit. It didn't come out, so I just lifted up that trim there and, you know, sort of stuck a screwdriver in and just gave it a push down and then pushed again from the other side. And through she came, and you just slowly feed it through. It's handy if you've got two people because someone can pull while someone feeds it and make sure it's not kinked, you know, and it just happens really quickly. But I've basically took the grommet out, drilled the hole, cut the wire nice and flush on the end with some quality. Oh, geez, that doesn't look as good as... yeah, I just cut that. That's weird, right? So when you go pulling wires around, things change because that was cut flush. Anyway, that's what you get for pulling wires and stuff like that. But yeah, I literally popped the grommet out, drill the hole, stick the wire through, pull the trims off. Half an hour to get to this stage, something like that. So, but I've done it before. This is what I'm used to. I work on vehicles. For you, might take a couple of hours, right? So. Okay, here we go. So through there, I kept it in there again, over the top of that one. I could have gone under, but I went over the top. There's room inside the trim for that. The point is, there's nothing. It's against plastic there. There's nothing for it to rub through on. Now, I've allowed enough wire. Look, I've gone across the seat and back again, because that's basically going to be enough to go across to the other side, and then under that trim, up to the back over there, where we're going to have our power outlets, because our power outlets are going to be on the passenger side. Let's quickly go over there for a minute. So you can see we're not there yet. So that wire there, we're just going to run it underneath there. See, this trim's loose, right? So there it is. We've removed the screws at the bottom. You've got to take the carpet out to get the screws and some clips and stuff up here. At the moment, we're just running that wire and it's going to come up inside here, and we'll secure it with some zip ties so it's not rubbing on anything. And we might even get crazy and put corrugated split tubing on it all the way from here to as far as we can go. Look, it's going to sit. I'm literally going to, I'll tell you, it doesn't need to be hidden that well because it's hidden, right? There's going to be a storage system in here. The carpet's going to be in anyway. I'm just going to run. You can see our UHF wire at the moment that came from the rear antenna. It's just going down under the seats, under the mats to the front. Beautiful. Our positive wire, I'm just going to run it along there on top of that carpet under the seats. There's nothing it's going to hit on. Just be careful where you route it, that when you close your seats, you're not going to jam the seat hinges onto it or something like that. That's where you use your zip ties. Think about your positioning. It's not a big deal. You can get it under that trim, no problem. Now, you can put it outside here like I have with, see that UHF one, right? But there's only room for a small amount of wire, so I wouldn't put it out here. I'll put it underneath, because when we run our fridge wiring and stuff like that, it's smaller, so we might just tuck it in there. We don't want too much going on under there. Then it's going to come through, most likely it's going to come through a hole. So we put our little fuse box thing here. We'll have our power outlets here, same as the other, pretty much the same as the other vehicle here and here. So you can check out the older videos on, I think they're on 4x4 diesel, but I'm not really sure. So it trims off so we can get in with a drill and do some drilling and stuff like that, under and over and all this sort of thing underneath. Whatever we need to do to get our access holes for the wires. This all gets covered up so you don't see it. You've still got some storage in there, but take the cover off to check your fuses or whatever you need to do. This end, we'll worry about the fit off and what's happening later, but I thought a lot of people would love to find out how to run the wire front to rear. Now, obviously, there's other ways to do it. You could continue running it up this side, all the way around there. There's plenty of room under this trim here. You could zip tie to this wiring loom here. In the 120, my power that was already run when I purchased the vehicle back in 14, it had an outlet here. So one wire to there. So I've refitted it out over here, including running extra wire over here for more power outlets over this side, right? So that's what, so you can go, that's a longer run, that's fine. The wire's big enough for that. Or of course, like we did in the other vehicle, we went, once we come through the fire. Back to the front for a minute, I'll just give you a quick idea what I did last time and a couple other options, but I just wanted to say, you won't find a lot of other auto electrical run wiring type videos like this, I don't think, because, or posts or things on Facebook groups and stuff, because, you know what, I mean, people are a bit shy to show you what they've done, and everybody likes to bag out, oh, you should have done this, or you can't do this, and you can't do that, and I don't give a stuff if you're going to bag out what I've done. You know, everybody thinks they know it all and they know better, and they're going to tell me what I should have done and what I can do and what I can't do and what I could have done better. And that's a bit of bad luck, because I've done it this way, and my standards are much higher than anyone else I've seen. I'll tell you why I know that. Because I've seen all the vehicles. I've seen hundreds and thousands of Prados and four-wheel drives wired up, and none of them as good as this. So as far as I'm concerned, this is the best, and this is why it's going to be called the best way to run the wire front to rear. Okay, so what we did last time, you can see where we've run it. We're back to the front now, driver's position here now, right? As I said, it's not absolutely final, but yeah, that's all looking pretty good sitting there like that. I probably won't be able to help myself when I'll squeeze some corrugated split tubing onto it in sections, because obviously very difficult to run it as a one length, if you know what I mean. So that's probably not going to happen. And what we did last time, we came in the same, you know, the same hole down here, right? We came in the same hole, right? Wherever it is. Can we even see? I can't even see. I know. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? I'm lost. I'm lost. Lost in wherever. I can't even see where I'm at now. Where are we? Yeah, there it is. There, right there, really obvious. But instead of going this way, we went that way, up around, you know, up over there and over the hump over there and all that. And that's cool. You can do that if you like. Whoop, we're getting blinded here. You can do that. And we went, you know, across to the other side and then along that side. It works out the same. So somewhere along the lines, you have to cross over if you're going to have your power on the other side, which I am. You can have it on this side if you like. You can do whatever you like, right? So you just got to pull the trim back, have a look, make sure there's space where you want to have it. You can put your fuse block and your power outlets and everything there if you like. For me, it's just the way I'm set up. I've got the, you know, it's happening over this way. Now, I'm even just second guessing myself thinking, oh, you know, because I just like to put that fuse panel in there out of the way, but I don't have to. I could easily put it here in the way, but it's just not the best looking thing. Now the power outlets, they sit nice and flush, so they sit there where you can see them and access them. But as far as the fuse box thing, I reckon it's better in the box like that, out of view. That's why I'm going that side, although you could quite easily use this side, each to their own, right? Remembering, so you could cross over at the back here, you can cross over under the seats as I am this time, you can cross over inside the vehicle under the dash and everything like we did last time. You could actually cross over out here in the engine bay, which I just don't think there's any need. I prefer to just, look, here's the battery. To me, the wires just go inside. It feels cleaner and safer. I just don't really, you know, well, you know, you can easily just follow along this wiring loom in corrugated split tubing, some nice neat zip ties with that wiring loom across there, right? And down there and into that way, and that's cool. You can do that. And some people say, oh, that's easier and that's better and whatever, you know, each to their own. Everybody's got different ways of doing things. It's all good. But what I'll say is, at the moment what we're looking at is a factory wiring loom. When you open the bonnet, you would see that. Now with my setup, when you open the bonnet, you don't see that. And on that note, what we're going to say is what a lot of people like to do. Let's turn that light off because we don't need it for the minute. They like to stretch wires across and connect it and like that. No, it's not going to be like that. Stretch tight like that. What's going to happen, this wire, it's going to come down, around the side, loop around. There's going to be plenty spare there. It's going to come up here and somewhere around here. I haven't worked it out yet, I've got to be honest. I'll probably put my MIDI fuse. See this the handle of the battery? I'll just put a couple of screws in the handle. The fuse will be right here. It'll probably go onto there. There's the fuse and the wire will go that way or something along those lines. And that is a nice, neat, reliable, simple, everybody knows how it works, so simple. And yes, out here I'll have corrugated split tubing for sure, because I'm going to have it down there places where I can't really see it. It's not going to be that secured, but it's going to be fine. The thickness of this insulation probably never run through anyway. It's only mainly if there's a short and it melts or something like that, which is why we're going to have the fuse here. And this is massive wire, and we're just going to run something like a 30 amp fuse, because there's no need to run one any higher. You could probably get away with a 20 or a 15 or I don't know about a 10, but we're going to start off with a 30, and if it does blow for whatever reason, then we'll just go a little bit higher. But last time I think we did 30, and it was never an issue running two fridges and anything else we wanted to plug in back there. Guys, I'm pretty sure that's all we need to include. So just to recap, you can cross over out here if you want. You can cross over inside the firewall, so under the dash. You can cross over at the back seats. You can go all the way to the back of vehicle. Last time we did inside. I definitely prefer inside. Why would I cross a wire over out here? The only reason I do that is, why would I do that? Look, if it's again, there's lots of variables, you know. I suppose, let's say you had your dual battery over here, like on the 120, we've got the dual battery out here, and I wanted power from that battery to go into the dash for USBs, right, which is in here. So it was, rather than run down behind, go through there and muck around under the dash, it was kind of like, okay, it's a small wire, we'll run across the top there, go in that hole, and bada bing. So that's what we did. So there's lots of variables, whatever you want to do. You got 4 options there. There was nothing wrong with the way I did it last time, but to be quite honest, I reckon this way is easier, because it's easier to run across the back of the seats than it is underneath the dash. This is probably the easiest way. Straight in here, along the side, bada bing, you've seen it all. Best, easiest video, most reliable. Make sure you got your fuse closest to the battery end. This is the power source here, so if there's a problem somewhere down the line, you want the fuse right here is the best place. So that's where it'll be. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked it. We'll get out and do some more adventures soon, some more touring, but to go touring, you need this sort of information as well. And didn't really want to put it on our 4x4 diesel, because it's not diesel, it's not servicing, it's not mechanicals, it's more touring, if you get what I mean, you know, adventures. So if you liked it, like I said, hit the like, subscribe, turn the bell on. We're out of here. See ya.